Well, we got everything put away for the year. A lot of stuff dirty, but it's gonna be 20 degrees next couple weeks, so we ain't gonna worry about cleaning nothing up until we get a couple warm days. We dug some ditches at my farm after we got the beans out yesterday, so I'm gonna take the loader and go knock some of this dirt down and fill in some low spots where I keep having water damage. I'm about sick of it. We're gonna get rid of these low spots on these farms. Hurts the crop and the yield and everything. We got the equipment to do it, so might as well get it done. It's supposed to get anywhere from 2 to 4 inches according to the weatherman. I'm glad we got done with beans yesterday. My beans did right around, if I figure it's 49 acres, I figure I had 9 acres flooded. So we figured right around 32 bushels an acre is what I got. You know, if you had the 9 in there, it was obviously, if you had the 9 acres in there, even though I didn't plant it, it is less, a little less, but I'm trying to figure what the beans, you know, if they weren't flooded, what they would have done. You know, and that's heavy ground over there. We're going to do more acres on some higher ground this coming season because it does pay off. But that's what they did where the beans were growing good and everything else. You know, I had some fields over here. They always have water damage. And we had the excavator over there while I was cutting beans. Dad was putting some ditches in, and we're going to start getting that farm to drain a lot better than it was. Ever since we bought my farm 6-7 years ago, something like that. You know, it's got ditches on it, but they need to be dipped out, and some of them weren't in the right spot. So we went ahead, we're working on her now. We're going to go around the woods and clean all the, like we did the other farms, clean all the limbs away and put some ditches around the woods, because I got problems around the backside of the woods there where it floods. Just nowhere for it to drain. They got ditches out, but they don't have anything where the wet spots drain to the ditches. So we're going to take care of that this winter, and it's going to be a lot better. But I figured right around 32 bushels an acre is what the beans did. I will say we learned a lot off the corn. We need to spray it earlier. Spray it earlier. Don't plant it on heavy ground. Of course, this year was bad. 2020 is bad all the way around. But it was bad. It got warm, then it got cold, and it just stayed cold after I had it planted. And then it rained. It didn't rain, then it won't stop raining. So, but we learned about the corn, where to plant it at, what kind of fields to plant on, spraying it. The beans, we plant all Plenish beans because they give you an incentive to do it, and they're actually cheaper a unit. And they actually yield good. I mean, they out yield the regular beans, they're right there with them. You know, we've actually had Plenish out yield them. But I think doing it from now on, we'll do Plenish behind the wheat in the early beans, and then we need to plant regular beans behind the corn because they just take too long. You know, they got so much oil in them, and they just take way too long to dry out. So, but we got them off. Very happy. It's extra money comes in. You know, we gained 50 acres of farmland without having to gain 50 acres of farmland. If you want to look at it like that, that's how I'm looking at it. We're going to do more next year. Hopefully 100 acres. I like to get some on the neighbors, at least 50 acres over there, instead of putting early beans, early corn, and then put the beans behind it to make it worthwhile on that property. Because we do 50-50 on that property, and it would definitely help us and help them. Like I say, now that we know what to do, we just got to stick to the plan and do it. We can't change up, you know, halfway through the growing season and don't do what we plan on. But it's definitely going to pay off. Like I say, we learned a lot, and now we know exactly what to do. And that's what this year was. It was just trying. So, and I think it's definitely beneficial, and it's going to be beneficial next year. Certainly doing it the way that we know to do it now. But we're going to move these dirt piles, and I'll get back with you. And this, as you can see, this loader is not the smoothest thing going anywhere. They're definitely not built for the road. They're built for the field, or a quarry, whatever you use them for. So headed over to the farm. As you can see, if you look over in the field, everywhere where it's green, that's where my flood spots are. They're all out on the back side of this field here. And then this field over here, you can see we put a ditch all the way across this field. That's the wettest field right there. And it should be the most productive field, but it's definitely wet. So what I'm going to do is, we dug these ditches out, I'm going to take some of this dirt and build the ground up where it's low over here. As you can see, we put a new ditch in all the way across that field. That's exactly what it needed. Now we can get a bulldozer. I can move this dirt here, but that field right there stays too wet and it's too much dirt for this loader to push. So we're going to get a dozer and just start spreading it out and build that field back up. And that's what the plan is. We got the excavator sitting right there. We're going to do the back all on them woods, knock all the limbs and trees back, and put ditch all the way around these woods. Is where I have problems at too. But that's the game plan. Alright, so today we're going to do some more ditch work here on this farm. As you can see, we've already dug a couple of ditches, and this is the problem that we've been running into all these years. Some of these bottoms are so wet, so we're going to put a ditch up through here, and as you can see, tons of water still sitting there. So there's a ditch right where that weed is, and we are going to extend it up towards the hill over here, and it all flows into this big ditch right here that runs right down the property edge. And that's what the goal is today, me and Pop. A lot of these ditches need to be redug out. It's just been years of stuff going in them, building up. The sun glare is horrible this morning. I'm thinking it's probably too wet to use the loader, try to move some of this dirt, but I'm going to play with it for a minute anyway, until we figure that it is just too wet. So here's the ditch to be added. This field right here really needed it. Really needed it. So. Alright, so yesterday I started washing the 8335R and the turbo till, which is a nightmare. If there's one thing I hate washing, it's a turbo till. I mean, I've got the front of it halfway decent, but this thing is, they get so much dirt on them. So much dirt on them because you run at high speed and all they do is just throw dirt everywhere, and it gets everywhere. So here's what the back of it looks like. I haven't even got to this yet. See all that dirt? Just dirt everywhere. And you can take a hammer and beat on this all you want, and the shit does not come off. So I washed it for 3 hours yesterday, and it seemed like I didn't get shit done. So I'm gonna wash it for 3 or 4 hours again today. Hopefully it'll get done. We got to replace these fingers. The blades and everything's still in good shape, but these fingers here, as you can see, they're already, when they get down to this curve right about here, that's when you got to replace them. So, and there's 66, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 6 rows with 11 on each one, so that would be 66 fingers we got to replace, and they're $20 a piece. So that's expensive, but they work crazy. I mean, you want to talk about something that works. These fingers really definitely work. I mean, really good at busting up, you know, these baskets bust up claws, but them fingers really do a hell of a job. And the faster you go with this thing, the better it does. Now, we do use it You know, we use it to tear up corn stalks and bean stubble, but you know, we use it for putting wheat in and cover crop. You know, we disc it once, spin it, and then we run it over with a turbo till and level it. I mean, they level like crazy. So, you know, we actually wear it out a little bit more than what we're supposed to. I wish we had a field cultivator with a basket unit on the back. We could do that. But this thing really works good. I mean, really works good. So the only problem is they're expensive to rebuild by the time you go through all the bearings and the blades, but damn, they don't work good though. I wouldn't give it up for nothing. It's a pain in the ass. The major thing is Great Plains, they got these nuts and they run these bolts through them. You spend an hour on each bolt trying to get them bolts out of them holes. It's horrible. It's ridiculous. They need to come up with a different system. We had regular greasable bearings on there and we kept running into problems. They kept going bad. So now we put the sealed bearings. It's the whole unit. You just put the whole unit on there and bolt them up. We've seen have better luck with them. So that's the way to go. They should come through with them right from the factory. So I don't know. All right, get to work. Oh, she's pretty. All cleaned up. Got the trunk pad on. Oh. Alright, so I'm riding around watching pop here on my farm. I'm gonna go all the way around the whole entire edge of the property. And the limbs are hanging out. I'm gonna actually put a ditch in all the way around there. It always floods. There's no ditch there. As you can see, all the dirt piles, we've dug all the ditches, put some new ditches in. It's a 50-some acre farm, and I probably lose 10 acres of it to water damage every year. Every crop, about 10 acres, is always having a problem. So we got the equipment, the excavator, loaders, everything. That's what we're doing now, is pushing the trees back, putting ditches in. We're not going to have this anymore. You know, if I got a 50-some acre farm, I want to produce off all 50, not 40 of it. We're going to get all this all knocked out, cleaned up, and it's going to really make a difference in our yields. So it's a really good farm, good ground, but just had a major water problem on a lot of it.